Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope this video / recording finds you well and that you've been making lots of juicy gains in the gym. Today, I'm talking about the utter folly of the concept of body types. And before I go any further, let's get this crystal clear, right? Just to put out the fires that the tribes like to make. Don't want to trigger the tribes, at least not in every episode. I'm more than aware that human bodies come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes. I would like to think that awareness was showcased in the last episode where I talked about muscle insertion points and how everybody is essentially different. It is for that reason exactly that the quote-unquote the three body types, ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph, are absolutely bonkers, right? So, the TLDR version of this episode is that those are three categories, but as far as the shapes of human bodies go, we're looking at millions of categories. Billions. You could, everyone is a unique category in and of themselves, However, the three types, get this right now, ectomorph, tall and lanky, mesomorph, athletic, short and stocky, endomorph, generally overweight. Those are the three categories, right? And the reason I'm talking about them today is because it's still widespread, and I think it's very much widespread on social media in some corners of misinformed Instagram, because the term endo, meso, exomorph sounds sciencey. It sounds cool, and so to the uninformed, it sounds like some real shit, But these are quite simply made-up terms that sound sciencey. And if any of you follow any kind of fitness content on YouTube, of which there is plenty of good stuff, right? So it doesn't matter if you're looking at shitty stuff or good stuff. Maybe that's a conversation for another time. Any fitness content at all that you've been watching on YouTube, then I'm willing to bet at some point you've seen a beautiful man with spiky hair hanging off of a chin-up bar with one hand and eating a pizza with another hand, telling the camera, you don't have to cut calories to lose weight, or some stupid shit like that. Anyway, this is Vince.
A proven, research-backed way to lose weight and keep it off. We already did all the hard work for you to simplify all that information into a very simple and easy-to-follow plan that literally anybody can do. So this is our body type quiz. It's a free quiz. It's 6 different questions, super easy. It takes like literally 20 seconds. You could do it right now. And then at the end of it, it tells you what your body type is, but it also tells you the 3 most important things to do based on what your body type is, and it's completely free. So click the link below if anybody's watching and you want to figure out your body type.
How about no?
He is a highly scripted, highly produced, highly managed marketing character for a brand called V-Shred. Now, full disclaimer, I did a little program on V-Shred like years and years and years ago when I was still a moron. And it did me some good, but only to the extent that it gave me a little bit of structure and thereby I had some novel stimulus out of it. But it wasn't this amazing thing that Vince from V-Shred is going to try and convince you of. And when you see this guy popping up on this YouTube ad, he encourages you to do his body type quiz. And there it is on the screen for everyone to see, a little screenshot of Vince's body type quiz. And the screenshot is 3 boxes with the body types in, and you tick the one that you think applies to you. Are you an ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph? It has those words there up on the screen as well. And so, again, uninformed people are going to see this, think it looks sciencey, think that Vince is talking to them in a way that no one else is. It's evil capitalist marketing genius 101, all right? And I'm going to explain today why it's so messed up that Vince is using this. And in order to do that, I have to tell you a story. It's story time with Nick. And this story begins with a chap called William Herbet Sheldon. That's it, yes. Herbert's his middle name. William Herbet Sheldon, Jr. the Second, I believe. Anyway, this chap came up with the three body types. They're his thing, and we're back in the 50s here, I think, around that mark. Endo, ecto, mesomorph only exists because of this man. He created the three categories. And before I explain anything further, I just want you to take what I'm saying today into consideration and imagine how it would go down if it was fabricated, came into existence today in the social media environment where we have people like Gary Brecker.
Then this means that when heat's leaving your body, calories are leaving your body. So if there is nothing, no amount of exercise hits cardio, no type of cardiovascular or weight training that comes anywhere close to immersing yourself in cold water in terms of what will strip fat off your body fast.
What the fuck?
This world where we have flat earthers, neo-Nazis, actual racists, just incredibly ridiculous people with unfounded shit leading their lives, right? What I'm talking about today would go down a storm. You know, it would have its base, it would have its tribe. So when we think about ecto, endo, mesomorph, we're thinking purely looks, right? Well, William Sheldon's big thing was to try to correlate the shape of someone with the personality of someone. And so, loosely, he would say that the ectomorphs, the tall and lanky folks, would be generally timid, harmless, not assertive people. The mesomorphs would be, those being the short, stocky types, sporty types, more likely to perform crimes. And the mesomorphs, the overweight folks, would be unintelligent but jolly nonetheless. And so here, straight away, just looking at the beginning of this story, we can see the problems with the existence of these three categorizations. But the story gets even crazier. For starters, Sheldon raised some eyebrows in academia. And he actually had some fairly high-ranking academics looking at his work and going, "Oh, yes, very interesting, old chum. Do tell us more. This is very intriguing. We think you're on to something here." One of these chaps was a fellow called Aldous Huxley, which sounds like a character from Harry Potter, but I promise you is a real person. He was a philosopher based in the UK at the time who had a platform. Sheldon didn't have much of a platform at this point, but Huxley had such a hard-on for his ecto, endo, mesomorph stuff that Huxley would use his own platform to kind of springboard the message of Sheldon into more eyeballs, into more ears. And so all of this started to gain some traction. Obviously that goes without saying, because the terms are still bloody being used today, about 60, 70 years later. The next part of this story, things get even more bonkers. I'm going to leave links to all sorts of things backing up what I'm talking about today in the episode description, okay? Not your typical PubMed research papers and things like that, but staying true to my word, I'm going to back up the things that I'm saying. And so, if your BS detector is going off at all, I urge you to have a look in the episode description and have a look around at some of those links. So here's the thing I'm going to say next. Sheldon was what did he want to do? He wanted to divide the three categories down into more categories and thereby create this kind of personality tree based off of the shape of people. And after developing this fairly needlessly complex tree that got him to look like a jolly clever fellow, he would assign different people different scores. They would have an endo, meso, and ecto score from 1 to 10 in each of the three categories, resulting in a final personality score based on the way they looked. I know, it's bonkers. It sounds insane. And so he would take naked front, back, and side photos. And there's a weird edit if you're watching video. I just had to double check something. Naked front, back, and side photos of Ivy League students. Butt naked front, back, and side photos. And he would have thousands of these for his quote-unquote research. Turns out, a couple of years later, once the hindsight of common sense came a knocking, these pictures in entirety were first shredded and then incinerated, which is just as well, because some of the nude images that Sheldon took for his research would be of people who would go on to hold high positions in politics. Big old blackmail fodder right there, right? So yeah, the silver lining to this freaky part of the story is that all of these nude images of underage Ivy League students were destroyed. And it gets even crazier. It gets even crazier than this. So after Sheldon passed away, when his estate was being dealt with, as you do when someone passes away, lots of Nazi memorabilia was found in the man's attic. Mein Kampf, iron crosses, and general Nazi paraphernalia. He was a big fan, it seems. And so, after explaining all of this to you guys, we have to wonder if Vince at VShred is aware of this. Or if he even cares that he is using terminology from considerably outdated science to look and sound cool. Outdated science, no less, that came from a potential paedophile Nazi sympathizer. Who knows? Who knows? I just can't help thinking of the people that he's bamboozled into one of his programs and convinced that they are someone who falls into one of three categories. Another thing that I take issue with, taking people away from the idea that they are individuals and jamming them into a box. Not helpful. That's body dysmorphia promoting, essentially. And so before I finish up today, I think the moral of the story takes us back to what I said earlier on, where we are thinking about how easily sensationalist claims and things are absorbed by people, that they see things that they see on the internet. Again, imagine if this ecto-endomesomorph thing was a new thing and had just emerged on social media. How many people would just go for it hook, line, and sinker because it sounds cool? Always be super critical of anything that you see online that isn't backed up by citations and resources. Even if you have someone on social media with DR in front of their name or MD on the end of their name, still, could be complete bullshit, because you don't know if the person that you're looking at is talking outside of their wheelhouse and is just doing a Vince and trying to look cool. Never forget that. Always scrutinize everything that you hear online, including the stuff that I say, right? I'm not exempt from this. I might discover something that completely changes the game for me, if and when that happens. For now, I will leave you with that little brain teaser, and I'll speak to you guys next week. Take it easy.